Dakota Ditcheva has become PFL's golden girl with her dominant wins over some of the sport's most terrifying fighters. But with those wins, Dakota carved her own path as one of the sport's most devastating fighters in the women's flyweight division.
And she's been saying she's just a Barbie, she should be a model. Well, a model just beat your ass in round 2, so shut up.
The undefeated MMA champion is sitting at 15 wins with 13 of them by knockout, and these are some of her most terrifying wins that ended her opponents' careers. On May 25th, 2019, Levi Steedman stepped in the cage with Dakota Ditcheva looking to progress her amateur record. In round 1, Dakota immediately set the pace and distance by kicking Levi to the outside. Levi shot in for a takedown, but Dakota dealt damage with knees to her body. Levi couldn't escape the clinch, and Dakota continued to deal damage with her knees. During the separation, Dakota caught Levi with a kick to the face and a combination. Levi found herself going for the clinch yet again, but Dakota was clearly in her element here. Even the takedown attempt of Levi ended up with Dakota in the dominant position. It was all Levi could do to stay alive until the end of the round.
Hometown advantage. There we are, end of the first round. Dominant there from Dakota.
In the second round, Levi tried to be more aggressive, but Dakota reversed it with ease. Levi finally managed to land a solid strike on Dakota, but it only enraged Ditcheva more as she unleashed chaos on Levi. Levi continued engaging the clinch, but she also continued regretting it every time. Finally, Levi managed to score a huge takedown on Dakota.
Take the win straight out here. Beautiful work from Dakota. Levi drives in the cage, picks her up and dumps it. Beautiful.
Levi managed to earn a good amount of control time, but once they got back to their feet, Dakota went back to work. In round 3, both women seemed a little hesitant, but Dakota knew that she had to put in the work here. Dakota ran her opponent to the ground and didn't let up. Finally, Levi slipped up and left her neck wide open for Dakota, who capitalized on the mistake. After this fight with Dakota, Levi never left low-tier MMA fights, and Dakota continued to climb. On September 30th, 2023, Cornelia Holm faced Dakota in the PFL semifinals. After testing the water, Holm shot in for a takedown and scrambled to get Ditcheva's back.
This is a good takedown for Holm.
Beautiful work. Nice scramble though from Ditcheva. Cornelia Holm.
No matter what Dakota did, she just couldn't shake Holm off of her back.
Knees to the thighs here.
I think this situation.
Finally, she managed to trap Holm's arm as she turned around and was able to start landing some knees of her own.
Continue evolving, and Holm is the person that will find those gaps.
Once the referee gave the warning to start working, Dakota switched on and went after Holm.
Back on the attack, drive through this takedown attempt and ditch.
Holm immediately took Dakota back to the cage, but Dakota knew that she had to do something to change the tide of the fight.
Dogged in the pursuit of a true takedown here.
Towards the end of the round, Dakota took control and put Holm against the cage and landed some devastating knees.
From Dakota Ditch back to work with some knees. Holm offers a few as well. A whole round of that.
Round 2, Dakota knew she needed to manage the distance better, so she started picking Cornelia apart with her strikes.
Pressure on the feet.
A good right from Dakota made Cornelia wobble, and Dakota knew that she had to capitalize on the moment.
What a right hand that was.
Holm spent the whole first round trying to tire Dakota against the cage, but it was clear that she had used way too much energy.
You can just tell the condition.
After eating a kick to the face, Holm decided to try her luck at pressing Dakota against the cage again.
Could she get a takedown here?
Balance from Ditcheva there.
This time, the referee wasn't going to let Holm spend the round pressuring Dakota in the clinch. Holm immediately went in for a takedown, but ended up eating a kick to the face as a response from Dakota.
And then immediately back on the attack.
It was clear that Holm had no intention of standing and banging with Dakota, but things shifted when Dakota took control on the ground.
Beautiful, very nice. You're going to see Holm deal with the grab.
After getting some control time, Dakota motioned for Holm to join her on her feet yet again.
Legs back in the fight. No surprise.
They ended up back against the cage in a matter of seconds, but Dakota had Holm's neck.
Pushed her back like
Guillotine.
Holm managed to make it to round 3, but she did her best to keep Dakota back.
Holm staying outside of her kicking range here. Dakota's going to have to step.
This time, Dakota was able to pick Holm apart on her own terms.
Front kick and another leg kick from Ditcheva. Both of these women showing a little fatigue. Oh, there's a head kick.
Holm was slowing down and eating shots from her head to her toes. Finally, Holm had enough after Dakota landed a combo on her chin and ate one final head kick.
With the third round finish.
Dakota Ditcheva!
During the PFL Europe Championship final on December 8, 2023, Dakota Ditcheva faced Valentina Scatizzi.
Record of 2 wins.
Valentina Scatizzi came out aggressive and ran straight to Dakota.
Stance coming out aggressive.
Dakota wasted no time in pelting Valentina with punches and kicks to the head and body though. Valentina kept charging forward, and Dakota had to switch to the clinch to deliver her signature knees.
This clinch knee is
Valentina attempted a low takedown, but Dakota's defense kept her on her feet a bit longer.
Things she can do is stand at range with Dakota.
That strength he talked about, Brendan.
Back in the center of the cage, Dakota was in her element as she chipped away at Scatizzi's defense.
every time Scatizzi gets
Valentina kept charging in for control time on the cage, but Dakota had more energy and reversed the situation.
With the knees here on the fence.
Scatizzi was clearly winded when they returned to the center, and Dakota was able to land a multitude of strikes any which way she pleased. Dakota's clinch hold was strong as she chipped away at Scatizzi's defense with her knees to the body and punches to the face.
So well.
more pain on the face of Scatizzi.
Finally, Dakota opened up Valentina's face with a punch while in the clinch.
Knees are devastating.
Valentina tried to switch things and grab a takedown, but she had no energy left to capitalize on her moment.
There we go. That's a better move from her. If she switches to a single, she might have a better...
The referee ended up bringing both women back to the center, but the damage to Valentina's eye was excessive and clearly visible now.
Dakota down and look, that eye.
Immediately, Dakota senses the end and goes straight for a head kick.
I don't think she's going to be able to see out of that eye.
The right hand there from Dakota Ditcheva.
With the damage to Valentina's eye growing after the round finished, the doctor put an end to the fight with Dakota looking completely unscathed.
European champion, $100,000.
Dakota Ditcheva stepped in the octagon with Jana Bishop on August 2nd, 2024. The first portion of the fight was spent with both fighters testing the waters and waiting for the other fighter to throw the first punch. It wasn't until a little over a minute into the fight that Dakota used a combo to shut down Gina's advances from the center of the cage. Finally, Gina started putting her head down and charged Dakota, but Dakota managed to land combos while avoiding the rush from Gina. After charging Dakota into the cage, Gina did manage to land a takedown though. Once the fighters were on the ground, Bishop fought to maintain control of the fight, but Dakota wasn't making it easy with her constant movement and active strikes to Gina's head. Gina spent a good portion of round 1 grinding her forehead into Dakota's face to apply pressure, but Dakota stayed calm. Once Dakota managed to get her back to the cage, it was fairly easy for her to get back up to her feet. Dakota seemed to be up against a real contender here as Gina continued trying to take the fight back to the ground. Dakota was too quick for her though, and she spun out of the clinch and brought the fight back to the center. Gina thought that she had an opening to grab Dakota and do some damage, but her legs gave out on her and she ended up back on the canvas. Dakota waved her opponent back to her feet where she really wanted to hurt her. With one sharp strike to the head, Gina went back down and the ref put an end to the fight, with 1 minute left in round 1. Finally, Dakota Ditcheva faced Talia Santos during the 2024 championship on November 29, 2024.
Given your instructions, touch gloves if you like.
Talia Santos seemed to be quick enough to react to Dakota's sharp leg kicks and managed to land some of her own early on in the fight. Dakota decided to speed up her strikes and her own reaction time to Santos' strikes as a response to her opponent.
Careful about reaching down.
Then, Dakota landed a solid strike forehead and tried to follow it up with a signature front kick, but Santos the strike well. The pressure Tyler put on Dakota was extraordinary, but Dakota's defense seemed unbreakable.
The outside reach started excellent with that technique.
In fact, it was Dakota who ended up on top when they went to the ground.
Nice job by Ditcheva to turn it around.
After getting back to their feet, Tyler managed to get a takedown with a smooth leg sweep that ended up with her taking Dakota's back. Dakota managed to spin out of the clinch and made a little contact with her elbow on the way out.
Nice job.
Tyler was slowing down, and Dakota put her against the cage with her front kicks that ended in a nasty right. The two fighters took a moment to re-evaluate their opponents, but Dakota opened up with a sharp kick to Tyler's head.
Keep switching. I think she's going to go into the body off that switch if Santos moves.
Dakota could sense that Tyler was hurt by one of her strikes, and she sent an onslaught her way. Round 2 started with Tyler struggling to control Dakota, and she ate shots the entire time.
Let's talk about everything you start your new year.
What a knee to the body that was.
Two big knees that'll trying to frame out. Keep
Dakota spent most of the round chipping away at Tyler's defense and stamina.
Sees where the gaps are. She's a very observant fighter in that regard.
During an exchange in the clinch, Dakota hurt Tyler with a solid elbow to the head.
An elbow caught her right. Santos is hurt.
Then, at the end of the second round, Dakota put an end to the fight with an onslaught of elbows, knees, and body punches that made the referee step in as Tyler doubled over.
That one hurts on the Santos shirt.
Santos is in big trouble.
Ditcheva to the body again.
Comment who you think stood the best chance against Dakota Ditcheva, and like and subscribe for more. Goodbye.